Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Five Stones Academy Live. You'll notice that we're starting about an hour earlier than we usually do. We're going to play around with the timing on this a little bit and see if we can get more people to join us live. We've been finding that anywhere from 3 to 15 people have been watching live, but then over the course of a week, the video will get viewed anywhere from 300 to 500 times. So, we want to find that peak time where people are going to watch live and get involved and ask questions and engage with us. So we'll be playing around with the time some, and would love to have your feedback on that. Today, we are doing our fourth and final edition of Five Stones Academy, where we're talking about search engine optimization. And we spent the last few weeks talking about the things that you would do on your website and off of your website, and just the way that they affect search. And what we're going to look at today is some of the tools that you might use to be able to monitor what's happening on your website. And some of these tools are free, some of them are not. So let's just jump right in. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free tool that is available to you from Google. You just go to google.com/analytics and you create an account. And there's a little snippet of code that needs to be added to your website. In many cases, that's something that you can do yourself. You may need to send that code to your webmaster and let them do it for you. But either way it goes, it's a pretty simple process, and it will give you a lot of information about what's happening on your website. And I'm going to show you some screenshots of our own Google Analytics just to give you an idea of what it is that you may be missing out on if you don't currently have Google Analytics on your website. So the first thing that I'm going to show you here is an audience overview. And this is a very, just a light look at the audience overview. You can click down into it and get a lot more information about your audience. But this is going to show me on a really basic level how many people visited my website over the time frame that I have selected, and in this case it was over the last 28 days. We can see that 988 people visited the website over the last 28 days, and that's up 11.3% from the previous 28-day period. We can see that there were about 1,200 sessions, which means that about 200 of those people or so came back to the website more than once during that 28-day time period. We see that the bounce rate is 71.6% and that it's up 13.2%. Now, normally I would get a little bit alarmed by that, but we just started running a lot of ads. And when we start running those ads, we know that the bounce rate is going to go up because people are going to click on those ads. And sometimes they find that it's not what they were looking for. Sometimes they may inadvertently click with their thumb, using their mobile device or something like that. Bounce rate is always going to go up a little bit when you start running ads. And then we can see that the session duration, people are spending an average of 1 minute and 29 seconds on the website. Pretty much everything that I show you here, you can click further into it and get more information about it. Now here's another view from the overview, and this is basically our traffic source. And it is showing us the organic search, the direct, people that are just typing in fivestonesmedia.com, that would be direct. Paid search, that's where we're running our Google AdWords ads. Social media, that could be from social ads, or it might be from organic social posts that we're doing. But anyway it goes, people are clicking on something in social media and going to our website. And then others, so that's just any other way that they would get to the website. Now, I don't really like the way that Google has this set up because it's a little bit difficult to see the difference in the colors or the shades of blue here, but we can see that the shade down at the bottom is our organic search, then direct, then paid search, then social, and then other. And that'll just give you an idea of how people are actually getting to your website. Again, that is something that you can click into and get more information about. Over here you've got your acquisition report. You can click on it and you'll get a lot more information, and I'll show you a little more detailed view of that in a bit. Now also on your main screen when you get into Google Analytics, by the way, all of this that I'm showing you, these kind of slimmed down reports, are on the main screen of Google Analytics. This is a report that'll show you what time of day your visitors are visiting the website. So we can see that our highest time of day is around 2 p.m. And that's something that's important for you to know. It's a little more important on something like social media to know that. Now, if you're an e-commerce store, it's very important because you may need to know that this certain time of day I need to ramp up the staff that I have on hand to handle questions and such by customers. But anyway, to know what time of day people are on your website is a valuable metric in some cases. Now, sessions by device is something that can be really important for you. We can see that on our website, about 70% of people are coming to the website on a desktop computer, 27.5% on a mobile device like a phone, or 2% on a tablet. Now, one of the places where you can really use this to determine if you're doing things right with your website is if you have a high number of mobile users, you absolutely need to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. And then if you've got a high number of tablet users, you need to see how your website is looking for those devices that are kind of between the phone and the desktop, making sure that you don't have any issues there. And there's more that you can use that for as well, just depending on the type of industry that you're in. You may use it for things like determining how you're going to advertise by looking at the types of devices that they're using. And again, you can click into that and get more information about it. You can also look and see which pages of your website are getting the most viewed. Now, this / up here, that is representative of our home page, and it would be the same for you. When you see just that / they're talking about the home page of your website. And then we can see after that our small business marketing page gets the most views, and after that, website of your dreams, and so on. Now, these two pages both have ads running to them, so it makes sense that they see a high number of views. Once we get beyond that, we've got our contact page, our about page, and then a blog post that was written, probably 6 years ago about the importance of aesthetics in web design that still brings a lot of traffic to our website. Now, many of the blogs that we write and put on our website, they'll never bring us business because the fact is they're being viewed by people that are doing research for like a paper, that they're writing for a college class or something like that. And those people are very unlikely to become clients. But it still helps us with our search because one of the things that Google looks at when they're determining the ranking of your website is how much traffic does it get already. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, but when you can get traffic to your website, even if it's not a person that's going to become a client, it can still help you in your organic search. So don't devalue that. All right, I wanted to show you this because another tool that we're going to look at is Google Webmaster Tools, and I wanted to show you one of the reasons why Google Webmaster Tools is so important. This is a report that shows the keywords that people are using when they find our website, or their search queries. You can see that there was only one search query that was provided to us, and that's why media scheduling is important. And everything else fell into not provided, and that's becoming more and more common that everything falls into not provided. Because when somebody is logged into their browser, the privacy settings there are not going to pass through what their search query is to you. Now, knowing what the search queries are that are being used when somebody is searching and finding your business is really important to you when it comes to search engine optimization. So I'm showing you that. There's only one that it displays to me because I want to show you something in a little bit when we talk about Google Webmaster Tools. So just hang on to that one for a minute. All right. Getting back to our traffic source, I said that where I showed before the bar graph that showed where your traffic is coming from, and I said you can click into it. Well, you can click in, and we can see here that our organic search accounts for 38.4% of our traffic, whereas our direct traffic is 28.7%, 15.2% is other, 8.8% is paid search, and then the blue is referral and the green is social. Now, you can click in to each one of these different things here and get some more detailed information about that. But you may or may not need to do that, but it's still important to know, how your traffic is getting to your website. A demographics overview. It's a great tool to have to know who is it that is visiting your website. In this case, we can see the age and the gender demographics. we know that the highest age demographic that's visiting our website is the 25 to 34-year-olds. And we can see that we're about 50-50 male-female, which is pretty interesting because most of the time what we see, especially on social, is a trend towards being higher on the female side. But this allows you to tailor your content to the people that are coming to your website. And then we have geographic demographic information, so we can see where the people are who are visiting our website. And, of course, it makes perfect sense in our case that the majority of people are in the United States, but we can click into that further, into the city. You can look at, metrics like the city and the state and see where it is that these people are coming from. And when I click in and look at the city, I can see that, of course, the majority of them are coming from Hammond, and then we have some other cities after that. And an interesting thing here is that, we've got Ashburn here with 62 visits, but if we look all the way over at their average session duration, it's 0. So we know that there's probably a bot or something from that area that is visiting the website and that those aren't real people. Honestly, I'm not even sure where Ashburn is. But the rest of them are probably, for the most part, legit searches, especially the ones from Hammond. This is one of my favorite views in Google Analytics. What this does is it allows you to see how people are making their way through your website. And if you look here, it starts off by the country that they're in. I'm really only interested in the people that are looking at the website from the United States, and the reason why is because that's where we do our business. It's very rare that we would do anything outside of the country. We do marketing work throughout the United States, but there's only been one case where we spoke to someone outside of the country about doing some marketing work for them, and it just didn't make sense for us to do it. So this is what I want to see. And what I can do is click on that and highlight the traffic through that source. And here's a screenshot of once I've done that. So when I highlight the traffic, I can see that the majority of traffic comes in from our home page. And then the red information here, that is indicative of a drop-off. Anytime that you see that, it means that somebody left the page from there. So I can see that most people go to our contact page, then our about page, then our small business page. But then I can look at things like when somebody comes in on our small business marketing page through a paid advertisement, what is it that they go to the most after that? And I can actually highlight the traffic through that source to get detailed information and see that the majority of them are going to our contact page and our about page and so on. When you find that you have a page that has a very high number of drop-offs, then that may tell you that you need to do some work on that page of your website to keep people there. But I love this view. It tells you a lot about what's happening on your website and what people do when they get there. So that was kind of the overview of Google Analytics. Now, I only touched on it. There's a lot more there than what I showed you. I could do, probably a week-long class on this, diving into all the little pieces and parts of Google Analytics. But that's not really, practical for what we're doing here. The next thing I'm going to show you is Google Webmaster Tools. And I'm only going to show you a little bit about that, but it is also free. And there's a couple of reasons that Google Webmaster Tools is really important. The first thing is that with Google Webmaster Tools, it's going to alert you when there are issues with your website. It's got a message center in it, and these will come to the email address that is associated with the Google Webmaster Tools account. So if your website goes down, it will send you an email warning you of that. If you have a page that can't be accessed, or your robot's TXT file can't be accessed, or something like that, it will send you an email and warn you of that. And that's one of the only ways that you're going to find that, unless somebody calls you and tells you, hey, your website's down, or I tried going to this page and it wouldn't come up, or something like that. So that's probably the most valuable reason why you would use Google Webmaster Tools. The second thing that would be extremely valuable for you would be to know what those search queries are that people are using when they're finding your website. Remember, I showed you in Google Analytics how they don't really show you that information a lot anymore. You can get a lot more inside of your Google Webmaster Tools. And here's a screenshot that shows, of course, Five Stones Media, our branded search term, is what brings the most people into the website. And then with the word 5 spelled out, then just 5 stones and 5 space stones and so on. Then there's that blog on website aesthetics and the importance of it that brings you here. Robbie Miller, our parish president, we did a case study on some work that we did for him, so that's why people are finding our website when they're searching for him, and so on. And I only screenshotted down to 12, but there were literally over 1,000 search queries here that I could look at to see how people are finding me. And that's a really valuable thing for you to know for your business. It is very difficult to do search engine optimization on a website without knowing the search queries that people are using to find you. So, second highest reason why you would use Google Webmaster Tools. Now, this is just a screenshot of the navigation inside of Google Webmaster Tools. It's going to allow you to look at things like the structured data on your website, schema data, something we went over, I think it was in week 2, the week 2 video on search engine optimization. It'll look at where you can improve your HTML, the links that are coming back to your website, the internal links on your website, mobile usability, or is your website displaying right across all of its pages on mobile devices? Blocked resources, removed URLs. Removed URLs are important when maybe you did some black hat SEO back in the day and you need to go in and tell Google, all right, I want to disavow all those old links. So that's something that you would do there. Crawl errors. So if Google is having a problem crawling one of the pages of your website, and again, it'll send you an email about that when that kind of stuff happens. But there's just all kind of stuff here in Google Webmaster Tools that you would use to make sure that your website is performing at its optimum. Another tool that we use, that's on we use this on every website that we are doing ongoing search engine optimization for, is Moz. I've referred to Moz quite a few times in this series of videos. Moz is not free, it is something that you pay for. But just some of the things that you might find in Moz would be like your keyword rankings report. And I only screenshotted just a small part of this, but it'll show you that, like on the top line for the key phrase, marketing agency Hammond, nationally we rank number 2 for that. And it's interesting because we just started trying to rank for that. We had always did the SEO on our website around the search term for web design or website design or all that. And we just started trying to rank for marketing agency. And in Hammond, we're already in the number 2 spot. And we will get that number 1 spot pretty quickly. Now, ironically enough, we can see here that we moved down 1 position for the keyword search engine optimization Hammond. And when you see that you move down, or up 1 or 2 spots, that just happens week to week. It's one of those things that you shouldn't freak out about. Now, if it happens and it stays there, then you need to do something about it. But there's always going to be small movements in your ranking results. Another thing that you may want to take a look at is Moz has statistics on your landing pages. So you can tell it that you want to track certain pages of your website and how it ranks for certain keywords. And we can see here that, like, our landing page in this case is our home page, and we're ranking for the search terms marketing agency Hammond, agency Hammond LA, Hammond LA SEO, stuff like that. So what it'll also do is it will give you information that is specific to those pages and tell you what you can do to those pages to make them rank better. So Moz is a really valuable tool when you're doing SEO on your website. For you who are doing just one website and you don't need like an agency account or anything, I think it's about $99 a month, and it is well worth every penny of that. Some other tools that are also not free, and I'm not giving, I can give you examples, but this is a heat map. A heat map is going to be something that's really valuable to you because you can see what people are paying attention to on your website. So if you have a call to action that's down the website, some that's not getting any action, but the top of your website sees a lot of clicks, it's visually appealing and people are spending most of their time in that part of the website, then you might want to move your call to action there. But you can literally see the hot spots and the cold spots in your website. And that's something that's going to be really valuable for you when it comes to conversion rate optimization. So website heat maps One example of a platform that you could use would be True Conversion. There's lots of them out there if you do a Google search for website heat maps. And it's going to vary depending on the type of, or just the content management system that you're using as to whether or not it'll work with that. And then another thing is website session recording. And I just borrowed this image from sessioncam.com, and I'm sure they won't mind me, telling y'all about their product. And it's just, it does exactly what it says it does. It records a user session on your website, so you can see what it is that they do. You can see where their mouse scrolls across the page, where they click, how long they spend in every spot of your website. Another very valuable tool when it comes to conversion rate optimization. So I hope that these things helped you out today, that these are going to give you some really good ideas as far as what you might do on your website, what kind of tools you might use in conjunction with your website and your SEO to make it even better. If you've got any questions, please do ask them. All right, so Joe Muir asked, how often should you update your SEO? All right, as far as updating SEO is one of those things that should continually be being done. The actual updates to the website itself should happen on a regular basis. A website, in our opinion, should not stay stagnant for more than a couple of weeks. Something should change on that. Maybe a blog post gets added to it or something like that. Google likes to see websites that are changing a lot. But your SEO itself, it's something that really, it should never stop, because Google's changes to their algorithm never stops. So what used to work yesterday doesn't necessarily still work today. Now, it's very rare that something cuts off like a switch, and it was working yesterday and it just doesn't work today. It usually kind of declines in how well it works. But you want to keep up with what's happening with Google. You can follow them, and they'll tell you a little bit about what's happening, but they never really tell you about their algorithm itself. They just tell you about best practices, and you're going to want to make changes to your website as things happen with Google. And they come out with these crazy names for their updates, like they'll have they've had the penguin update and the panda update and all kind of stuff like that. So I hope that was a good enough answer on that one. All right, so JR is asking, how many blogs per month? As many as you can do while providing value in what it is that you're writing, and with it still allowing you to focus on your business in the way that you need to. So blogging is probably the easiest way to keep your website changing. And at least once a month, you should add a new blog post to your website if you're trying to do SEO on your website. But we recommend probably twice a month on average. If you can do once a week or more, then that's great. There is no just standard answer for that, because it's going to depend on how competitive of an industry are you in, and are people looking for the information that you're putting out there, and can you truly put quality information out on a regular basis. So at least once a month. All right, and the difference between SEO and SEM. So SEO would be search engine optimization, SEM would be search engine marketing. Search engine optimization is all of these things that we've been talking about. Search engine marketing is going to be things like your Google AdWords or your YouTube pre-roll video, the things that you pay for, basically. Now, SEO can certainly fall into, I guess, the overarching umbrella of search engine marketing, because it's marketing that you're doing through the search engines. But typically when people refer to search engine marketing, they're talking about the marketing that you do when you're paying the search engines. So that's the difference there. And I'm sure that will be a topic that we put into one of our series pretty soon, would be search engine marketing. So again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the questions. And if you have any more questions, continue to ask them. It doesn't have to be while it's live. We will still answer your questions in the comments, and we would really appreciate those questions and the engagement with us. So thank you.